Being a minority in Hollywood is tough. You don't wait on Hollywood. Hollywood is a
Being a minority in Hollywood is extreme. You don't look out for Hollywood is a bank, and the Chiefs don't get the substance. Marlon Wayans as of late spilled the tea on a succulent Hollywood mystery. It appears to be that Sparkletune could owe the Wayans kin a stunning fortune originating from their contribution in startling film 3, 4, and 5. We never left our establishment. That we made it was taken by the tattle plant explicit. Explicitly, the numbers cite the supposed Hollywood obligation counts up to an ipping $155,200, the 000 from the third portion, a surprising 178,700, and 10,620 from the fourth flick, and 78 extra 600, and 1381 from the fifth film. That is an amazing grade, all out of around $400 million. That seems to have escaped everyone's notice and never advanced into the Wayans' pockets. We presumably ought to sue, since they likely owe us a shitload of cash. And perhaps one day we will. Now, you may be thinking about how in the world did this happen? For what reason didn't they get their hands on this pile of money? Well, support yourselves, since I'm going to let the cat out of the bag on the puzzling subtleties in the core of Hollywood's tangled history. A story unfurls that entwines the inventive brightness of Marlon Wayans and his siblings with the transcending presence of the Weinstein siblings. At the focal point of this story lies an amazing total $400 million, an emblematic figure that exemplifies both desire and duplicity. You see, the Wayans family, frequently compared to the Jacksons of the satire world, have created a large number of Paramount and Religion exemplary movies throughout the long term anyway. Among their comedic manifestations, none very raised a ruckus around town. Perfect balance. Like unnerving film 1 and 2, the terrifying film establishment. Strikingly, the initial two portions generally reshaped the repulsiveness parody classification. As opposed to simply mixing panics with humor, these movies adopted a strong strategy by earnestly embracing the specialty of joke and persistently telling wisecracks. Where am I? You're behind the love. See, the composing was refreshingly inventive, infusing a much-needed refresher into the domain of satire films. It was shameless, flippant, and hilarious diverting, without any misrepresentation of being respectful or PC, a component that reverberated profoundly with crowds in its initial days. Terrifying film was a family undertaking coordinated by Keenan Ivory Wayans and featuring the Wayans siblings Marlon and Sean, who additionally co-composed the movies. It was a cooperative exertion that delivered these comedic diamonds. As per a 2000 Fly magazine article, Marlon Wayans genuinely shared the beginning of the hit film establishment frightening film, offering a brief look into the inventive flow that prompted its origin. Marlon and Sean Wayans, known for their comedic ability, uncovered that the thought for the film was brought into the world during a fairly whimsical film-watching meeting. As Marlon Wayans reviewed, "I think we were watching I Understand What You Did the previous summer. And we said, I understand what I will really do the following summer. I will ridicule this multitude of damn motion pictures. I'm so burned out on seeing them. I watched shout till I needed to shout. I seen I understand what you did the previous summer. Such a lot of that I needed to turn into a killer, and anyone who made one of these films their dissatisfaction with the excess of slasher and thrillers in the last part of the 90s filled in as the impetus for a mocking showstopper. The Wayans siblings viewed the class as ideal for spoof because of its not unexpected ludicrous and equation-based components. Marlon Wayans cleared up, "We just tracked down these slasher motion pictures for be somewhat crazy, and I figured it would be entertaining to do a spoof. Yet it was one of the hardest motion pictures to compose. It seems to be a senseless troll movie, yet it was anything but a simple film to execute." The meeting with Stream magazine additionally shed light on the exhausting excursion the content took prior to turning into the notable movie we realize today. The siblings shared that the content went through various modifications mirroring their obligation to conveying an item that would genuinely resound with crowds, as Marlon Wayans reviewed. When we initially composed it, we composed it with the extortion lead, yet Keenan told us. And he was correct, it wasn't consistent with the class. So we switched things up and made our champion a white young lady, lead a little ditzy white young lady. Intriguingly, the cycle included various emphases of the content with renditions, customized to various settings, and socioeconomics. Marlon Wayans expounded, we grew such countless various variants of this film. We worked with our sibling Keenan, and we composed a dark draft, a white draft, a secondary school draft, and a school draft. This far-reaching approach expected to guarantee that the humor and parody and unnerving film would engage a wide crowd in spite of their earnest attempts. The content confronted various obstructions in finding a creation. Home different movie studios passed on the venture before it at long last gathered revenue from the Weinstein siblings. This fit of destiny was especially unexpected, as frightening film brazenly parodied shout of blood and gore film that Dimension had delivered the functioning title of the screenplay upon its obtaining by the Weinstein was shout in the event that you understand what I did last Halloween. This title in the end advanced into alarming film, a name that would resound with crowds and become inseparable from the establishment. Unnerving film made its dramatic presentation on July 7, 2000, and it immediately turned into a sensation regardless of an unobtrusive spending plan of $19 million. The movie's film industry execution was out-and-out dynamite. Inside only 14 days, it had crossed the $110 million imprint in the end, netting a faltering $278 million overall, with $157 million of that approaching from the U.S. alone. Prominently alarming film denoted a huge achievement by breaking the record for a movie coordinated by an African-American chief. Marlon Wayans pondered the film's exceptional achievement, underscoring the amazing luck and joint effort that added to its accomplishment. He commented it was the ideal film at the ideal time, done by the ideal individuals. That is truly what I feel like it was. And you never realize another can occur. There's dependably room. The unforeseen victory of unnerving film was a demonstration of the Wayans siblings' inventive virtuoso and their capacity to take advantage of the social climate. Following the massive progress of the main portion, startling film, two hit venues the next year, notwithstanding its business achievement, earning $141 million on a $45 million financial plan. The film got blended surveys from pundits. Marlon Wayans credited a portion of the analysis to the studio's scramble in delivering the spin-off of gain by the energy created by the first. By the spin-off's monetary achievement just built up the establishment's status as a film industry force to be reckoned with. However, the tale of the alarming film establishment took a chilling turn after the arrival of terrifying film 3 in 2000. And three fans and pundits the same saw a tremendous distinction in tone, contrasted with the initial two movies. And the shortfall of the Wayans siblings was glaring. A 2003 paper article affirms this, with one fan communicating disillusionment, saying, once the C of the third film was delivered, the primary thing I saw while watching the sneak peeks was that the Wayans siblings were missing. I was extremely disheartened. Sean and Marlon gave the most clever characters from the initial two movies. So startling film 3 previously had a difficult trip. The actual siblings shed light on the disrupting conditions encompassing their takeoff from the establishment. They claimed that Bounce and Harvey Weinstein, the makers of the series, terminated them and continued to assume command over the establishment. Marlon Wayans made sense of individuals continued to fault us. We did startling film 1 and 2. The interesting ones, everyone thinks we left the establishment or we sold it. No, it was taken from us. I could compose a book on that entire thing sincerely. They certainly still owe us cash, bunches of cash. What they did was downright awful business. The unexpected flight of the Wayans siblings from the alarming film series denoted a defining moment in the establishment's set of experiences. It brought up issues about innovative control proprietorship and the difficulties looked by craftsmen in the serious world universe of Hollywood. The Weinstein are not awesome, or the most thoughtful individuals to be good to go with, Wayne said. In a meeting with assortment, they're a lot of an underhanded system. I surmise they would what they like to do, how they make it happen. And it tends to be discourteous and very rude. We were unable to settle on the arrangement. It resembles to pay for the jokes, have another person do it. To exacerbate the situation, Marlon Wayans was on a Christmas getaway when he figured out that he had been dropped from the establishment, which he and his sibling co-composed and assisted with creating. We read on Christmas Eve that they were going with another person for Alarming Film 3. He said they were malevolent, as F. Wayne said of the Weinstein siblings and Miramax Studios. We didn't leave an establishment. They would have rather not made our arrangement. And they grabbed it. The Weinstein did some truly horrendous liar and loot towns sort of business. So it wasn't so much that we at any point left our establishment that we made it was taken, and us being the creatives that we are resembled. Okay, wagered. Assuming you currently watch What I Make regardless, the third portion procured around $220 million overall, while the